No, it's working, sir. Yeah, good afternoon. Okay, so we left here last time. So we'll discuss this. Population survey. The main aim of this survey is to supplement routinely collected statistics. The term health survey is used for the survey related to any aspect of health, morbidity, mortality, nutritional status, etc. The type of health survey is survey for evaluating health status of the population, surveys for investigation of factors affecting health and the disease. Yeah, so type of health survey includes, sorry, I'll repeat again. Type of health survey includes uh, surveys from evaluating the health status of the population, surveys for investigation of factors affecting health and disease, environment, occupation, income, circumstances associated with the onset of the illnesses. For example, environment, occupation, income, and circumstances associated with the onset of the illness. Those are risk factors or correlated factors. Okay. The surveys relating to administration to health services are, for example, use of health services, expenditure on health, evaluation of population health needs and unmet needs, and evaluation of medical care. The health survey may be a cross-sectional or longitudinal. It may be of descriptive or analytic, or it may be of both, as cross-sectional, descriptive or analytic. Okay. Now, survey in terms of survey methods, the health interview survey, health examination survey, health record survey, and mailed questionnaire survey. Now, when you do survey, you can do it with the interview method, like those are the questionnaires which you make it, and you ask the question and other person answers the question. Health. Then there is also known as uh, self-administered questionnaire. Self-administered questionnaire is you make the data, you make the questionnaire, and then you give it to the participant, and participant reads it and understands and fill it and give it to you. Health examination survey. Health examination survey is like you conduct camps, you establish camps, you conduct camps, you examine the person in the lab, in a specific research lab. You examine the person and you do some measurements, like for example blood pressure measurements, anthropometric measurements, and etc. And then so these are health examination survey. Okay, then you can also do ECG, you do echo, you do all these stuffs. That includes health examination survey. Now, health record survey. Now, there are some surveys in which you go through the previous records of patients or data of the hospital. So you go and do the surveys of the records. You don't do face-to-face interaction with the participant. Now, then mailed questionnaire survey. Mailed questionnaire survey are electronic surveys which you guys know nowadays, that there are Google forms, there are other forms, electronic forms, where you can make your questionnaire and you can make your forms and email it to the participants. Okay. Health examination survey. It's carried out by the team consisting of doctors, technicians, and interviewers. The limitation of this survey is that it is expensive. It cannot be carried out on an extensive scale. Health interviewer, okay. Health interview surveys. It is an inevitable method of measuring subjective phenomena such as perceived morbidity, disability, and impairment, economic loss due to illness. It is an invaluable method of measuring subjective phenomena such as perceived morbidity, disability, and impaired economic loss due to illness. It has the advantage of giving population. It has the advantage of giving population based data. The interview survey in India are conducted by the National Sample Survey Organization. The interview surveys in India are conducted by the National Sample Survey Organization. Now, coming to the questionnaire, it is an alternative method of measuring subjective phenomena without an interview. The questionnaires are, it is an alternative method of measuring subjective phenomena without an interview. It is a cheaper and simpler and sent able by mail to a person sampled from a given target population. The disadvantage is the presence of high rate of non-response. Now, coming to health records. Health record survey involves the collection of data from the health service records. The advantages is being the cheapest method, and the disadvantages are obtained estimates are not population based, they are not reliable, and there is a lack of information procedures, lack of standardization, and recording of the data. I think you guys understood this. I'll repeat again. The health record survey, it involves the collection of the data from the health service records like hospital, institutions, operation theaters, and various PHCs, CHCs, and all. The advantage is being the cheapest method. So it is the cheapest method of doing survey. You just go to the facility and you just cross-check the information from the health records. The downside is the obtained estimates are not population based, because the population which come to the hospital are usually sick population. So you lose a lot of amount of data which is from the healthy population compared to any sick population. So if the person is more sick, it can and the data from the more sick person cannot be generalized to the general population living in the community. It is not reliable. Again, there are, you understand, in India there are registers, the clerks and other people enter the register, which is sometimes are manipulated, or there are hundreds of errors, human errors in that. So it is not reliable. Lack of uniform procedures. Now, when it comes to procedures, uh, specifically in our country, the procedures for managing a disease is quite different, and it varies a lot from hospital to hospital, person to person, doctor to doctor. So there is a lack of uniformity, and there is a lack of standardization in the recording of the data, and there is a standardization lack of standardization in recording of the data, right? Now, other routine statistics are, these serve to be these serve to give examples of sources of the data, like demographic data, economic data, and social security system schemes. So the severe to give these serve to give examples of, right. So demographic data is the population. Uh, the demographic data is a population study data. Economic, again, you understand economic data, and the social security schemes, the government schemes on social security, those. Non-quantifiable information is the health planners and the decision makers require a lot of non-unified information. Non-quantifiable data information include the health planners and decision makers require a lot of non-quantifiable information. For example, the information like information on health policies, health legislation, public attitude, program costs, procedures, and technology. Okay, thank you for this presentation. We connected late here, we got connected late, but we still have 15 minutes, so we can take up another this thing. We can start another topic briefly, and if you're lucky enough, we will try to finish this today. Again, going to the statistics. Just a minute. Just a minute. Are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me? You have a class? We have covered this biostatistics part, so I'm just skipping it. Now, presentation of the data. So, when after analyzing, after doing all the statistics and analysis and tables, after you get the results, how the results can be presented. So, this topic is about presentation of the statistical data. As you know, main sources of the collection of the data is experiment, surveys and records. We already discussed about that. So there are two types of data, qualitative data and quantitative data. Quantitative data which can be quantified. The qualitative data is data in the form of non-quantifiable, non-number form of data. Okay. Then qualitative data. Okay, briefly I'll discuss this. In such data, there is no notion of magnitude and size of the characteristic or attribute, as the same cannot be measured. There is only one variable, that is frequency, which can be measured in this data. They are classified by counting the individuals having the same characteristics and not by measurement. These data are discrete in nature and such as number of deaths in different areas of the population and population of the town. If you want to sleep, you can sleep now. Bebu? Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. So, yeah. The quantitative data is there are two variables, magnitude and frequency. The quantitative data obtained from the characteristic variable are also called continuous data, as each individual has one measurement of continuous spectrum or range, such as body temperature from 35 degree to 42 degree centigrade. Principles followed for the presentation of the statistical data is they should be presented in such a way that the data should become with concise without losing details, arouse interest in reading, become simple and meaningful from uh, form impressions, need few words to explain and define the problem in the suggested and suggest the solution to, and become helpful in further analysis. For good presentation of the data, full labeling, simplicity and honesty are the essential requirements of the dataset. Okay. The method of presentation are tabulation and drawings. Tabulation are the devices for presenting the data from mass statistical data. A table can be simple or complex, depending upon the number of the measurement of the single set of the multiple sets of items. Now, principle which should be borne in mind in designing the tables are: the table should be numbered, title which is brief and self-explanatory should be given, data must be presented according to the size or importance, like chronologically, alphabetically, or geographically. Tables can be of two types: simple tables and frequency distribution tables. Now, population of some states in India, like population in some states in India are, this is one of the example of the table. Population of India, again the same, and the frequency distribution table should be, in this the data is first split into convenient groups, and the number of items in which occurs in each group is shown in the adjacent columns. Maximum 20 and minimum 5. So the example of frequency distribution table is like this. The following are the ages of the patients admitted to hospital, like lower to upper, maybe chronological. So age group 0 to 5. So this is the crude data. This is the crude data. Now when you divide it into frequency distribution table, it is like we divided it into 5 age group. Okay. Coming to drawings. In case of qualitative data, the common diagrams in use are bar diagrams, pie or sector diagrams, pictograms, and picture diagrams, map diagrams, or spot map. The presentation of the qualitative data are in bar diagram. Bar charts merely a way of presenting a set of numbers by the length of the bar and the length of the, so the length of the bar is proportional to the magnitude of the represented data. Bar may be drawn in ascending or descending order of magnitude and or serial of events. Spacing between any two bars should be nearly equal to half of the width of the bar. Types in there are simple bar charts, multiple bar charts, compound bar charts. So these are the different types of bar charts: simple bar chart, grouped bar charts, stacked bar charts, and this is a substance use. Like this is another examples of bar chart. Components. So bar chart may be divided into two or more parts, each part representing the certain item and proportional to the magnitude of the particular item. Non-white, white. Now pie or sector diagram. In this, instead of comparing each, okay. So these are simple pie charts. I'm just skipping. So this pie chart, for example, this pie chart shows the distribution of percentage of EU farms in land by country. So the pictograms of HIV infection and AIDS, for example, developing countries and developed countries. Right? So there are different this thing. Map diagrams, spot maps. So this is one of the important map diagram. Like this is very important. We forget about that other diagrams we remember. So if you see here, this is a geographical location of cholera. High cholera, moderate, medium, low, and low. So you can see with the color of the darkest color of the region which suffers from cholera is like given here. So this is a map diagram. This was one of the first spot map which was made for cholera to find out the source of cholera. Means these dark spots are the events where the cholera means the patients were who suffered from cholera, and then slowly it was identified that this is the water source of the cholera. And then John Snow was the identified this with mapping. He created that. Anyways, this is another example. Okay, if the data is quantitative data, the graphs which are used are histogram, frequency, polygon, frequency curve, line chart or graph, cumulative frequency diagram, and scattered or dot diagram. The presentation of quantitative data it is pictorial diagram of frequency distribution. Verbal characteristics of different groups are indicated in the horizontal axis, x-axis, and called as abscissa. The frequency, that is no number of observation, is marked on the vertical line, is called as ordinate. Histogram is an area okay, I can just skip on. Okay, this is a line diagram where you can see the pattern. So if there is we are talking about the single type of episode, single type of event, then you can see the same event occurring in the different years or different months or different periodic time. You can join the dots, it becomes a line diagram. The line graph can be depicted in this manner as well. Cumulative frequency. Okay, this is a scattered plot. Scattered plot is different uh, spontaneous events or patchy events. If you want to capture it, you can capture it in isolated time, which are not connecting the dot. The scattered plot. This is a trend. This is a trend line in the scattered plot, which you can see. If this is a trend line, this is a trend line. If there is an intersection here, that means if this parameter grows, this parameter goes down, and if this parameter goes up, this parameter goes down. I'm skipping some examples. This is a box and whiskers type of plot. Okay, we just read it. Sometimes called as box and whisker plot. It is constructed from the information in a stem and leaf plot. The median and the first and the third quartiles of the distribution are used in constructing box plot. The median changes are SMAF score is 2.5, the 2.5, the 75th quartile is 9, and 25th quartile is 0. The box plot is drawn with the top of the box and the third quartile of the bottom, and blah blah. I'm just skipping these descriptive things, you can read it. The box represents the middle 50% of the data, and the located of the chip. This is the minimum, this is the maximum, this is the mean. Right, thank you. We discussed this topic also, and with this, these two topics are over. Thank you and have a good day.